It's that time of year again where friends and family gather together to share each other's company and celebrate their holiday festivities of choice. But no matter what you choose to celebrate, some traditions transcend all cultures, like the overly friendly auntie that is there to interrogate you to find out when you are getting married. I know this question is great fun for all involved, but that nosy family member might be doing more for your financial well-being than you realized. Being single is becoming an unaffordable luxury for a lot of people. The cost of living is exploding right now, and without a partner to share the financial burden with, single people are financially falling behind their friends who are in consistent relationships. Being able to combine income and share expenses is only where the subtle advantages start as well. Multiple studies by world-renowned institutes in multiple countries have found that traditional married couples even earn more on average than people who are single. Interestingly, the reasons the researchers found for this pay gap were causal, which means that it wasn't just the richer people were more likely to get married. It means that being married on average gives people key benefits that lets them earn more money during their career. The gap between couples and singles is only growing to make matters worse, and the cost of dating is also increasing at an alarming rate. This means the financial benefits of long-term relationships are now, more than ever, disproportionately going to go to those people who are financially stable enough to be able to play the dating game. We must also remember that there are lots of people who want to remain single, and even more worryingly, there are lots of people that are in relationships that would like to get out of them if only they could afford it. So it's time to learn how money works to find out how being single can be an expensive luxury and why traditional couples on average end up so far ahead. This week's lesson was made possible by Rocket Money, formerly Truebill. And no matter if you're single or have a partner and need help with your bills and budgets, this is the tool for you. Rocket Money identifies your subscriptions to help you stop paying for things that you no longer need. This app allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, and build a custom budget all in one place. Since I've left investment banking, I've also had to cut back on a lot of the things I spend on, including the whole suite of streaming services that I barely even use. Rocket Money helps you identify those services so that you can cut back on spending on subscription services that you don't even use. In fact, you can cancel those subscriptions right from your app. It also helps you negotiate your bills. Simply upload a photo and Rocket Money will negotiate the bills for you. With Rocket Money, I saved a few bucks on my internet bill. Finally, it helps you put together a budget. It regularly monitors my spending, and I've learned very quickly that I need to order less food delivery next month. Rocket Money is a great way to save more and spend less, and you can join the 3.4 million members using Rocket Money today. And I've got the hookup. Go to rocketmoney.com/howmoneyworks or by clicking the link in the description to get started for free or unlock even more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/howmoneyworks to get started for free. Get your money right in 2023. The first reason that being single is becoming an unaffordable luxury is the easiest to understand. When you are all by yourself, you can't share certain expenses with another person. The cost of housing, furniture, appliances, fuel, insurance, subscriptions, and utilities is higher for a couple versus a single person, but it's not doable. There are certain expenses that can be shared with co-living arrangements like having roommates or hosting paying visitors using platforms like Airbnb, but these arrangements still can't make up for the financial disadvantage of being single. Sharing accommodations with a roommate is not as stable as sharing it with a partner. Every time a roommate moves out of a house, they will take their share of furniture and appliances, which may need to be repurchased, even if someone new has moved in to replace their share of the rent. Roommates also can't be used to share expenses as broadly as a partner. Apart from eccentric tech bros like Sam Bankman-Fried, most people wouldn't feel comfortable sharing certain amenities like a bedroom with a whole bunch of random people that they are not romantically involved with. Although, having lived in San Francisco for these past 2 years, I've considered it. Let us not also forget that having roommates is not exclusively for singles either. A lot of shared houses split up the rent on a per-room basis, which means that a couple could benefit from only paying a share of a total rent for the place they live. The savings that can be had by being able to split up expenses between two people are especially important for lower income earners, where the difference can be truly shocking. To see this, we need look no further than the Department of Health and Human Services' own guidelines. The poverty guideline for a household with one person is an after-tax income of $13,590, but for a household with two people, it is $18,310, which is only 35% higher than the income of a single person. These are the guidelines that the federal government uses to determine the eligibility for certain assistance programs, and what they have worked out is that to keep a couple out of poverty only costs 35% more than it does to keep a single person out of poverty. If both people in a relationship are working and earn comparable incomes, the ability of each party in that relationship to save money or spend frivolously increases by a big margin. You probably already knew that finding a special someone could help you save money, but what you might not have known is that it could also help you earn significantly more money as well, or maybe a lot less, but we'll get into that later. The National Longitudinal Survey of Youth, or simply the NLSY, is a project run by the Bureau of Labor Statistics that tracks the financial status of 12,686 people over their lives. If that sounds like a bit Big Brother to you, don't worry. The people being studied did volunteer. The NLSY group that started being tracked in 1979 has shown that married men earn on average 44% more than men who are not married. This difference is even larger than the difference between men who did or did not get a college degree. People who have researched this trend have ultimately come up with 4 possible explanations. The first is simple sample bias, in that men who earn more are more likely to attract a partner and be able to pay for a wedding, which on average now can cost over $20,000, not including the engagement ring or traditional honeymoon. The second explanation is similar to the first, except that it doesn't require men to be wealthy to begin with. It instead suggests that men with more Puritan attitudes are both more likely to get married and work diligently in their careers, making more money than their casual peers who don't care about traditional values like marriage and never calling in sick. The third explanation is that men who get married just become better workers. This explanation argues that marriage makes men work more hours, strive for promotions, and take on more demanding jobs. It's theorized that men who get married will do this out of instinct to provide for their partner and their family, or maybe they are just willing to work longer hours because they want to avoid the wife and kids. This theory also postulates that it's easier for married men to be better workers, especially in extremely demanding and high-paying fields like law, medicine, or finance, because they can depend on their partner to cover domestic duties like cooking, cleaning, and running a house that would distract someone who is single from focusing on their work. The final explanation is that employers somehow preferred married men to single men. It's illegal to ask about marital status in a job interview, and it's definitely illegal to hire someone based on whether they are married or not. If they did, the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission could give them a very big fine. However, there are still benefits to be had in the workplace for a married man. Once someone is hired, their employers will find out if they are married or not, either through paperwork or even just casual conversations, and that's where the benefits start. It's possible that married men are seen as more mature, because marriage is a natural goal that is achieved by people going through life in a quote-unquote traditional way. Being perceived as more mature means these men are subconsciously considered above single men for promotions and other career opportunities. Married men are also viewed as less likely to unexpectedly quit their job, because they have a family to look after, whereas single men can jump around because they don't have the same responsibilities, despite no research suggesting this is actually the case. Married men can also be treated better than single men during periods of downsizing or restructuring. Managers are more likely to want to hold on to the married man with the family to support than they are to hold on to the single man who can land on their feet. The truth is, the 44% that married men earn over single men is probably due to a little bit of all of these theories. Now, if you are wondering why I've only been talking about men so far, it's because the NLSY study found that married women earn 10% less than single women. The difference is not because married women are more likely to stop working and become stay-at-home wives. The study actually accounted for that and found the 10% drop in income based on comparable women who worked similar hours. The explanation for why married women earn less than single women is therefore some combination of the same reasons that married men earn more, probably with a heavy weighting on employers preferring single women, because they are perceived as less likely to quit and start a family. It's not right, it shouldn't happen, but we all know that it does. Alright, before I start a big fight in the comment section about gender equality, the point is that even though married women earn less, the total earnings for a traditional married couple are significantly higher than the earnings for an average single person. If you are curious about married gay couples, the answer is unfortunately, we don't know. Gay marriage only became legal in 2015, and the study tracks 12,686 people who were at least 14 in 1979. By 2015, the participants would have been at least 50 and at the end of their careers, so there was no time for a meaningful trend to develop. Although, the Bureau of Labor Statistics starts a new version of this survey every 2 decades, with the most recent one being from 1997, so in another 10 years, we may have our answer. The increased income and decreased expenses that come from having a long-term partner are clear to see, but unfortunately these benefits are being locked behind an increasingly expensive paywall. An article published by Time found that dating costs 40% more than it did just 10 years ago, and financial stress is one of the leading causes of divorce. Unfortunately, what this means is that being married is kind of like buying a house. It's a great way to secure your financial future, but it's increasingly unaffordable for average people. Now, marriage may very well be a better investment than a college degree, but is that even that impressive anymore? College is expensive, and that money could be used to make other investments with a better chance of making your money over your career. To find out what they are, you should go and watch my video on a better investment than a college degree. A special thanks again to Rocket Money for making it possible for everybody to keep on learning how money works.
What is it like being single? I like it. I like starting each day with a sense of possibility. And I'm optimistic because every day I get a little more desperate, and desperate situations yield the quickest results.